AAA VR games. Well, today we're going to be talking about the best AAA VR games you can play right now in virtual reality, as well as at the end of this list, I'm going to be talking about the games that we have coming up. So make sure you stick around till the end, because there are some games there that, oh my, I can't wait, and I think are going to change virtual reality for the better, and it's going to be incredible. The way this list is going to work today is we're focusing on AAA flat games that have had the VR treatment. Now, there are a lot of games that could be classed as a AAA VR game, and I would love to know your opinion on those in the comments down below. List out all the games that you think are AAA VR games, and I may even do a follow-up video to this just talking about that. Hey, consider smashing that like button, subscribing. It really does help the channel out a bunch, so I would appreciate it if you did. And of course, you know, hey, wait until you've seen the video. If you enjoy it, then you can hit those buttons if you enjoy it. Anyway, let's dive in with the first video on today's list, and that, my friends, would be Resident Evil. Resident Evil is probably one of the biggest supporters of virtual reality out of all the flat studios at this point, just because of the fact that they have converted, well, 2 of their games in 3 different ways. When it comes to Capcom, they kind of do it freaking right. Starting off this journey, they started off with Resident Evil 7 on the PSVR 1, and this was one of the most terrifying experiences I've ever had in virtual reality. It was also very early in my VR journey, and oh my goodness, they really freaking scared the crap out of me with this one. I really wish this would get the PCVR treatment, as I feel like it deserves it, but nonetheless, we're lucky enough in this day and age to have some incredible VR mods that can convert this into a VR game anyway at this stage. But it would be nice to have that official port coming over to PCVR. Nonetheless, an incredible game. Moving on from there, we have Resident Evil 4, which has had 2 times the amount of treatment of virtual reality, as we have the original Meta Quest version that is locked into that platform, and honestly is a fantastic example of what can be achieved on standalone VR. This is one of probably the best AAA examples we have currently in standalone VR, and it just feels absolutely incredible to play through this. It looks fun, it looks incredible, and well, it is bloody fun. If you're looking for an experience on this and you only own a Quest, this is the best route you can take to experience in this game, and genuinely it's a fantastic representation of it. There are some moments in there where you kind of wish they'd done the cutscenes differently, maybe they hadn't had to cut away to do a roundhouse kick, but in general they handle it pretty damn well, and it is a good example of what you can do turning a flat game into a VR game. Then we step it up just a little notch as we made it into the remake of Resident Evil 4 on the PSVR 2. Now, oh my goodness, this game is just a freaking banger. Not only does it look insanely good, but it also plays insanely well as well, and plus you have the additional things of it being the remake where you have those bonus beats that are added into the story. Genuinely, this is a gorgeous experience, and I really enjoyed this. And I'm not a horror fan by any means. In fact, I actually dislike horror in virtual reality because it scares the pants off me. But with this one, it's kind of one of those no-brainers where you have to experience it because it truly is some incredible VR and just some incredible game, full stop. Next up, we have Batman Arkham VR. This was one of those games that came out, very short experience mind you, but it gave us a taste of what Batman in VR could actually be, and this game looks incredible. It originally came out for the PSVR 1, and then it came over to PCVR, available on Steam. Now, even to this day, I still recommend that you go and try this game. Now, of course, we've got some news going around about Batman VR at the moment. I'm going to talk about that towards the end of the video, so make sure you stay locked in if you're intrigued by this. Trust me, it gets way better. But nonetheless, this is still a shining example of exactly how you can do a superhero game in virtual reality well. And yeah, this really hit. You get to really experience being a detective, you get to experience some of the action, and you get to experience being up close and personal with this sort of world set of characters. There is a moment for me that will stand out forever in my virtual reality catalogue, and that's when you're looking in the mirror, you turn away, turn back, and you have the Joker, turn away, turn back, you got Batman, and the room starts shrinking, the world starts evolving around you, and it's just one of the most incredible moments I've ever had in virtual reality. So I highly recommend you check this out if you haven't already. Next up, we have Skyrim VR. Now, this originally dropped for the PSVR 1 as well, and then came over to PCVR just a little while after, and genuinely, if you want the most fleshed out RPG game in, well, VR, then this is going to be it for you. Without a doubt, we're not even scratching the surface when we talk about mods and stuff. We'll go into that in just a second, but even in its standalone form, this is still a fantastic shining example of VR. It's a little rough around the edges, it's got the Bethesda feel to it for sure, but nonetheless, it's still incredible that they actually brought this into virtual reality. Now, on top of that, if you play this on PC, well, then you can go through some serious modding, and I'm talking like hundreds of mods applied to make this into one incredible game that still stands out at this point as being top-notch VR. And I'm talking about realism mods, I'm talking about freaking AI generated characters that can literally talk back to you and stuff. It's kind of crazy, but if you go down the rabbit hole of this, and there are some incredible videos on this on the internet, you can really mod this game out to be one of the most incredible experiences you'll ever have in virtual reality. Sticking with Bethesda, we also had Fallout 4 coming to PCVR, and oh my goodness, this game again was an incredible experience. Right off the bat, we got freaking Fallout in VR. I mean, Bethesda again are doing some good stuff with supporting this. Again, this isn't the most shining example of good VR mechanics, but with a little bit of modding, this game can be a freaking top-notch experience. Now, off the back of the TV series coming out recently, obviously the popularity of this game popped off again, and a lot of people have been showcasing some of the incredible mods that actually work with this in a similar way to Skyrim. There are a ton of ways to mod this out to have one of the best VR experiences. I highly recommend, if you're going to try this, literally go in, learn about some mods, and really adapt this game to being what it can be and showing its true freaking potential. So a high recommend from me, but nonetheless, it's just incredible to actually visually witness the wastelands. Even if you go into this bare bones, just being part of the wastelands, seeing the world for what it is and seeing it at full scale is just some other kind of experience. Next up, we have one of the most monumental moments in probably VR's history, and that's when we got Half-Life Alyx drop. This is one of those moments that we got a true peak in interest when it came to virtual reality, as well this is a beloved franchise that finally made its way to virtual reality. Now, Half-Life Alyx by itself is probably one of the most shining examples of storytelling done well, physics done well, and of course just world building done well in virtual reality. There is so many things working well for this that it's just an incredible experience. On top of that, there is an incredible community that building just insane levels for this that are outside of the game scope that you can just download and keep you locked into this experience, playing over and over again all these different types of things. I mean, you've got things like Gunman's Contract. If you're unaware, go look that up, because it essentially turns the entirety of Half-Life Alyx into a John Wick simulator. But there's so many cool things that we've done with this, including, of course, the incredible campaign that personally kept me absolutely locked in the entire journey of this game, and I bloody love it. If you have not experienced this, I beg you, go and experience this, because you will never look back and not say, damn, that was some fine freaking gaming. Gran Turismo 7. This was such a monumental moment when the PSVR 2 came out that they were actually giving Gran Turismo 7 the VR treatment. Now, just to put some perspective on this, before Gran Turismo 7, I really was not a sim racer. I didn't like it in virtual reality. It wasn't really my bag. As soon as I picked this up and put it on, I was just like, whoa. I instantly went out, bought a steering wheel, bought pedals, got very invested very quickly into this, and I just got so immersed into it. It looks just stunning to be inside of these cars, seeing all of the incredible environments that they've built, the incredible interiors and exteriors of these cars. It's so highly detailed, it feels just incredible, and I just recommend that everyone gives this a go at least once in their lives. It's just so well made, to the point where it took me from being someone who really didn't care about sim racing to someone who was spending way too many hours invested into this game. I'm talking probably 100 plus by the time I was done with this. Next up was another huge moment for the PSVR 2 with Call of the Mountain. Horizon Call of the freaking Mountain, guys. I mean, I'm a massive Horizon fan, so being able to jump into that world and that universe was just next freaking level for me. Now, I will say this isn't the perfect example of a VR game. There is a lot that lets it down where they didn't quite get it right, but nonetheless, there is enough there to make this one hell of an experience. I still personally really loved going through the story of this, seeing all the machines, seeing all the worlds, seeing all the places that you could go within this, and experiencing that in sort of first person being there was just freaking incredible. The visual in this as well was absolutely top notch. The only things that let it down, in my opinion, was there's some, funkiness that happened with reprojection, unfortunately, that affects a bunch of people's sort of experience in this. There are ways to conquer it, but this isn't the video to talk about that. And also, the controllers were a little bit dated for what was happening. And I don't mean the physical PSVR 2 controllers, I mean the controls that they used in the game to do things. Past that though, this is a top-notch experience, and if you're a Horizon fan, I really recommend you try this out. It's just incredible. There is a demo for it as well, so if you just want to have a little taste of this, dive in there, try that demo, and you can thank me later. Next up, we had Assassin's Creed Nexus. This, again, was one of those moments where we're like, this is actually happening on standalone only as well. We brought us freaking Assassin's Creed, letting us dive in and experience 3 of the characters that we beloved from this franchise, and well, you get to dive in and experience them firsthand actually being that assassin. Now again, there are definitely things about this game that aren't perfect. Really, it comes down to the combat in this game. It's just a bit sucky. But past that though, the parkour and stuff feels incredible. Freaking having a wrist blade flick out feels incredible. The game looks actually pretty damn amazing for what it is, being that it's on standalone and standalone only. Other than the combat, this game is a very cool experience that makes use of some of the cool features of the Quest 3. There's a few mixed reality moments in there as well, something towards the end that will happen that will blow your mind. Genuinely, it's well worth playing through. It's just a shame that they didn't lock in the combat just to be a little bit better. If they just looked at some of the shining examples we have of good combat games, I felt like they could have learned a few things and maybe implemented that, making this a perfect game. And that's going to do it for the games that we have currently available. Honestly, there's such a good list there. There's so many games to get excited about. Again, let me know in the comments down below any games that you're considering as a AAA VR game. And honestly, I'm super intrigued by that, to the point where, like I say, I'll probably make a video based off of the list that you guys give me. I know someone's going to shout out Lone Echo, and Lone Echo is one of those games that you just need to experience. But nonetheless, that brings us up to our very exciting end of this video, where I'm going to be talking about the games that we have coming up. And to kick off that list, we have to kick this off with freaking Metro Awakening. I am so goddamn excited for this, it's not even funny. Now, I'm a big Metro fan, and the fact that we're actually going to get the VR treatment to this game, and I'm talking like its own standalone game within the franchise, is very freaking exciting. This is going to be a fully fledged game with a campaign, the story, and all of the goodness that we're expecting from a Metro game, and that darkness, creepiness, slash freaking exploring and fun is all going to be in this package, and I'm just very, very excited. Of course, we can't get too hyped with anything until we've actually played it and seen it, but just from the outlook, this is looking really positive, and it's made by a studio with a very good history behind it, so very much looking forward to this. Next up, we have Aliens making its way to virtual reality, and I again am very excited for this. We know very, very little about this game just yet, other than the fact that, well, you're going to be in the Aliens universe. I really wish we could talk more about this, but right now we just don't know a lot of information, but we know it's coming. We know it's coming this year, and we know it's coming to multiple platforms. So really, it doesn't matter what headset you own or what platform you play on, you're going to be able to enjoy this game. And again, it's just another monumental moment of freaking Aliens coming to virtual reality. So hell freaking yeah. And last but not least, it's the tease that I brought you in from the beginning on, and that, my guys, is freaking Batman. Batman is getting the VR treatment, and I'm talking full game. Not only that, but this is going to be made by the studio that gave us Iron Man VR, which is a freaking stellar game. And honestly, this is back into the Arkham franchise. So this isn't just like another Batman game. This is actually grounded in the Arkham universe, and man, I'm excited about that. It's kind of funny because I've seen a lot of disliking happening from this from flat gamers, so I'm kind of really hoping that this is going to be that catalyst, the same way that like Half-Life Alyx was, that gets a load more people to come and join virtual reality and just give it a friggin' go, off the back of wanting to play this game. So I'm just so excited for this. Honestly, I'm so excited for VR at the moment, and this is a video just sort of like paying homage to the fact that we get a lot of people all the time saying, oh, why don't we get AAA games in VR? Well, there's actually a bunch of them already, and there's like I say, there's already an extended list of this where you could really look and break down like the studio sizes and what makes a AAA VR game, and probably add to this list with another probably 10-15 titles. So there's a lot out there to experience. Let me know in the comments down below what you consider to be a AAA VR game, and well, other than that, guys, if you enjoyed this, smash like, subscribe, and all that good stuff, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye.